Hey everyone, my name is Jake Patterson, otherwise known as Jake Pat on Wattpad or DeviantArt. Go follow me there. The link's in the description and everything. And welcome to my Friday tutorials. Dun 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 dun. So this is my first ever voiceover step-by-step tutorial video. So I hope you guys like it. This will be one of the longer ones, just because of the content here. But please bear with me and make sure to leave um, any suggestions for next week or other week tutorials down in the comments below. So yeah, I'll be doing these tutorials every Friday. Um, I might miss a few Fridays, but I'll try really hard not to. I recommend going to my Wattpad actually and follow me there because that's where I am the most often, and that's where I'll be posting any information. And actually, I'll be posting most of my covers there. Well, all my covers there actually. Way more than you guys will see on YouTube, since I don't make speakers for every cover I make. So without further ado, let's get started with this tutorial. So for today, I thought I would do one of the most highly requested tutorials that at least that's requested from me, and I'm sure from many other designers, and that is to do a simple walkthrough of Photoshop. So let me just tell you a bit about my Photoshop. It's Adobe Photoshop CC 2018. So yes, this is the latest version, but this tutorial will apply to anyone, I believe, with any of the CC from 2015, 2017, and 2018. And also, I think CS6 and maybe CS5. There are a few different tools, but generally it's the same. It might even go all the way down to CS3. I have no idea. I've only used Photoshop CC. And clearly, in my opinion, I think it's just the best. Like, I've seen speed covers of people from who use different software, I suppose, or different editions, and it just looks, and this one is honestly a lot cleaner and a lot more modernized, just that aesthetic utilitarian aspect. So to get started, I'm just going to create a blank document. I will change my background content to white. You can change it to white or black or any color you want, even no color. And I'm going to change the document type to cover. This is a preset I made by setting in the width and height and creating I'm pressing save preset to create a new document preset. You can just rename that, and it's a really quick and simple way of just like opening up or just like starting cover basically, because this is the basic Wattpad aspect dimensions for a cover. And so instead of typing it out every time I make a new document, I just click on that and it takes me right to it. So just save a bit of extra time. So there are a lot of tools, maybe around like 15 or 20. I'm not going to go through each one step by step because I tried doing that before, because I've actually recorded this video twice and it just takes a whole lot of time. So instead, I'm going to be showing you some of, I think I have about 5 of my favorite tools, and then I'm showing you some, just like throwing in some extra tips along the way. So to get started, I will show you how to create a background color, because like this is transparent currently, so you see that means those little pixels. I'm sure you know this already, but just throwing it out there, those little pixels just mean that there's nothing there. So if I save this right now, and I saved it as a PNG, it would literally be blank. I'm sure you guys don't need an example. So let's just start with the color. This nice gold. And what I did right there was I pressed X, and right now you see this gold color is in the foreground. So it's my foreground color, meaning that if I selected the brush tool, that's what it would come out as. If I pressed X, however, it switches to my background. So now this bluish gray would be my brush, would be call that my brush displays. But if I press Command or Control, depending on Windows, Apple, Command Delete, I get this gold color. X again, Command Delete. You get the idea. So yeah, that's just a quick, simple way of doing it. Honestly, not really sure how else people would do it. Like, I don't know, I never really tried. But yeah, this is how I do it. And just to be aware, I guess this is really to help you guys. But I use keyboard shortcuts a lot. Like, they just save that like extra minute, you know? Because when you're really working on a graphic, like I did in like Kingdom of Thrones, you want to like cut down the time as much as you can without actually getting rid of anything in the graphic, if that makes sense. So without really affecting the editing process, you're just saving stuff that extra time by using like shortcuts like B for brush and V for move and L for lasso. I'll go through that in more detail later because that's actually what this tutorial is kind of for, just to make Photoshop easier for you. So I'm going to do Command Shift N, which creates a new layer. I never name my layers. It's a really bad habit. I know a lot of people do, the more professional people do it, and they usually advise it, but honestly, I find it so much work. I've actually never changed I keep the color as none, but if you did change the color, all it would do really is organize it, kind of. So if I'm making a PSD, I would use that. Like if I'm making a PSD pack all on one image, I just use that to differentiate. But really, unless you want to use it for color coding, it has no purpose. So that's how you create a new layer. Another way of doing it is pressing this page folded icon down below, create a new layer, and it does it for you. I don't really use that. Like I said, keyboard shortcuts are how I go. So I'm just going to go ahead, get my brush tool. By the way, I used the command B, which if you're ever wondering about any of the other keyboard shortcuts, if you right click on the icon, it'll open up this drop down menu, and on the right is the letter for the keyboard shortcut. And most of the tools will have keyboard shortcuts except for Smudge Tool. And yeah, I think Smudge Tool is the only one. I don't really know of any others. But yeah, B. Okay, so I'm just gonna yada 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 yada. No idea what that is. Then what I did right there, I pressed V, and this takes me to my Move tool. There are two options here: Move and Artboard tool. I honestly have no idea what Artboard tool is. I've never used it. Like I said, this is just gonna be the things that I use and things that I would recommend that you guys learn immediately, because it's just gonna save you so much time. So now I have my Move tool selected. What this does is basically just, let you move around a layer, okay? Only a layer at a time, okay? Well, not at a time, but the layer that you selected lets you move that around anywhere you want. However, I'm just gonna change the color so you guys can see this better. What about bright green? Yeah. So if I want to move both these layers for whatever reason at the same keeping the same how do I say it, like, let's say keeping this part directly that against that part. If I want to keep it the same and not have to go like that and then go like that, what I would do is I would select it, and basically what I did is keep your cursor on one and then press shift as you select the other one, and both of them. Then get your Move tool out, and you can just move it wherever you want. Guys, it's gonna be really, really basic. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but just in case, Also, if I really want to play around, one thing, it's not really about Photoshop, more about design, but just a tip I'm throwing out there. A really good thing to do is play around with colors, contrast. So what that means, if I just erase it, just clicking this eye icon right over here, just to hide it, and if I have this gold color, right, I could have many different variations. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Many different variations of this gold, warm brown. It's not necessarily an artist thing, but like, get the idea, right? But like, it would be nice to have a color theme. But if you ever want to just make it pop or anything, you could just just make random colors to go like that, just of one of the colors that you used, and do Command I to invert it, and you would use the eyedropper tool, which you can get by pressing I, holding it down, and hovering it over whichever part you want. You use that, and then now you have a pop of blue. Just really illuminates the thing. Bad example, but you get the idea, I hope. So yeah, that's something you can do. Next tool I think is really important would be, I guess, the lasso tool. Basically, it just lets you to create a freehand selection of a layer, and just you can do whatever you want with it. You can move it around. You can press Command I and invert only that selection. You can do Command T and make it bigger or smaller or flip it, or honestly, I can't really say all the possibilities because it's basically limitless. Oh, good example. One thing you want to watch out for are these lines. Like, I'm not really entirely sure why it does that, but if you just do Command Z, Command Alt Z, Alt Z, Alt Z, Alt Z, bunch of times, because that's a thing in Photoshop, you can't do Command Z and then Command Z again. So what it does is it's basically like doing undo and then redo on Photoshop. So not really helpful. You have to do Command Alt Z to keep going back, and Command Shift Z to keep reading. So that's just one of those things that you just have to get used to. I'm sure, like, I think you go to Preferences, and then somewhere around there is like a way of like changing that. But I haven't really tried. I just got used to it. It's up to you guys, really. Yeah, I don't really know any other way of getting rid of those weird line effects. Sorry, this is really unprofessional. And next on the lasso tool is a polygonal lasso tool, and it's the same thing really, except it's less freehand and it's straight lines only. So like similar idea, you could go even further with this just by starting. So first you click, then you press Shift. All that does, it allows you to only move, and I believe 45 degrees or 90 degrees. So it's like if you want to make a square or rectangle, I guess this would be like one of the more efficient ways of doing it. Though they're doing it is going down to the actual shape tool, choosing the rectangle tool, and just like that. And you can make it further by pressing Shift as you do it to make it a perfect square. Next on my priorities, I suppose, would be these two tools, which are basically selection tools. So first, a quick selection tool. If I just click that, I'm just gonna group these by Command G and hide them. If I want to select only the green for, like, let's say this is like an actual image, and I only wanted the green, I didn't want anything else. I choose a quick selection tool, which is a smart tool that Photoshop has designed. It's a really good algorithm, and basically it predicts which part of an image you're trying to select based on the movement of your hand and, like, I guess the color and like a whole bunch of other things. It's not perfect, as you see here. I want to select the green, select a bit of the purple too. So if that happens, you just press Alt, which makes it minus, or you could manually select it, but keyboard shortcuts. And then you just press on the part you don't want. Likewise, if you do something like that, you press Shift or go to plus and select the parts that you do want that weren't selected. And then you just would go to select a mask or refine edge tool, depending on which version you have. You could adjust setting, like make it really soft or like really sharp. and then you just go like that. You can either do Command Shift I and delete everything. Command Shift I just inverses the selection. So instead of selecting just the green part, selects the background, everything minus the green part. Then if press delete, obviously only the green part would be left. Or what I do usually, because I don't like deleting things, as I'll explain later, just do Command J, which duplicates, and in this case, duplicates the selection. Then I would just hide that other layer, so it's just there. Another way of doing a selection, in this case it's way more useful, is the Magic Wand tool, which selects based on color. And one thing to keep in mind while using this, if you're doing really advanced editing, where you really want to it's a really complicated background, you want to try to separate that from the foreground, I wouldn't recommend using really either of these tools. I recommend either you have to actually work hard on that one, and either use and just you can use the Polygonal tool to do it, or the brush tool. I'll explain how to do that later. But really, with more complex usage, you want to trust yourself more than the program, because clearly you know what you want more than Photoshop does. Photoshop is really good at those smart technology things. Just keep that in mind as well. So here, it's just one color. You can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it's still just one basic color. So if I want to just get the background, just that golden color right there, I just select it. I press Shift Select to get any of those little spots in the middle. And just to explain quickly, this tolerance thing, the lower the tolerance, the more color shades and tints it picks up, the higher the tolerance, basically just one color is picking up. I usually keep mine around 30 because that's safe. Oops. 30, but you might have to change it depending on what you're working on. Here, it does not matter at all because, again, it's just one color. I don't really need to go to select and mask, but yeah, basically it. You see how it nicely selects the what I want. So that's really good for color thing. Most designers steer away from it, steer clear from it, but it's really up to you, and it really depends on what you're working on. So next on my most efficient list is the eyedropper tool. And this is it's not like I wouldn't call it necessarily, if someone asked me, I would call it my favorite tool or something, but it's essential. It's just, I don't know how else to explain it, but without it, my pieces would all be slightly different colors, if that makes sense. So how I get it is I press I, or go to it manually, and it's just an eyedropper. It looks like an eyedropper. And how it works is it selects colors. So if you hover over this, if I want to pick this purple, I just hover over it, and it sets that as my new foreground color. And that's really nice if you're working on making if you're painting. And painting, I don't just mean digital painting. If you want to add this brush, let's say, and you want to just it's just helpful. Or you're writing something, and and the eyedropper tool, you don't need to go to the tool. Most of them will have color pickers built in, but yeah, just go like that, la 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 la. It's really helpful, and honestly, it's way better than color guessing, which is what less advanced programs would make you do. Yeah, next is brush tool, really basic. I don't think I have to explain this. Just press B to get to it. If you right click onto your canvas while selecting the brush tool, it's just going to open up this menu. This is a new, really new version of Photoshop. I'm still figuring out how to change it back to the old version where it would show you the brush like it does up here. But I figured out how to temporarily show it. I don't know if that's helpful. So just preset manager. This is what most of yours will look like. So yeah, you see I have all these brushes which I download. If you want, I could do a video on that later. But yeah, brushes, I can make an entire cover out of brushes. Minus the text, if you get good brushes, you can do anything with it. Honestly, the there is no limit really. You just be creative, and you got it. I make a lot of textures with these too. But yeah, brushes are are definitely help you become way better at Photoshop like really quickly. Next tool will be the type tool. Oops, which is right here. Another really simple code is T. Takes you right there. And it's pretty, again, self-explanatory. You just type whatever you want, like type, let's say. You have to highlight it, okay? And then you could choose whatever font you want. Again, I could also do a tutorial on this, on downloading fonts, and also how to make nice text. If you command A, sometimes, well, not in this case, but sometimes say, for example, Arial, I believe. Ooh, something's wrong. Let me put an example, a good example. Yeah, Avenir. It has a built-in types of text, so you play around with that. Make sure this is on crisp for a while, like right if you have no idea what it's called. But basically, if it's not on crisp, what will happen is, and this happened to mine, I didn't notice it happen, but it just makes it really weird. Do you see that? Like it's really choppy, yet you don't want that at all. So make sure it's on crisp, that just smoothens it out, makes it look way nicer. And here, if you hover your mouse over the icons of any things that require numerical values, and just move it to the right, it increases, move it to the left, it decreases, and it's really useful. Or you can just go in and type it in. So yeah, this is just right align, left align, warp text, which again, more advanced, I'll explain that later if you guys want. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave most of these for like a different video, just so I have some content to work with. And yeah, last tool I'm saying is the shape tool. So there are, I guess I'm just going to say two basic shapes really that I use. The rectangle tool, which I kind of explained earlier. It's pretty self-explanatory, self-explanatory. You just drag, and there's a rectangle. It automatically creates a new layer, and you can play around the settings like stroke. You can adjust the stroke value or like size stuff. Pretty cool. I like that color combination actually. I'll say that for later. And the other version is ellipse tool, and yeah, same thing, same idea. If you press shift while you're dragging, it makes a perfect circle. Over here under custom shape tool, you can choose from a variety of like strange shapes, and you can see all of them right here. It doesn't look like all, but like there are a bunch of like cool shapes. You see here, like right now it's really flexible almost, but if you press shift, it locks the proportion, so it's just perfect. But you know, it's a little hint. Okay, and so I think I'm getting close to wrapping this up. Yeah, I think I don't want to explain everything right now, just because I really believe that an important part of developing your skill is testing out yourself. I do not believe in learning completely from tutorials at all. Like even right now, I'm learning After Effects, and while I do follow some tutorials very closely, I would like to believe that after I get like adapted to it, like Photoshop is actually a lot simpler than After Effects, so it's a different story. But like, you know, you only want to watch so many tutorials before you start experimenting yourself. So I really recommend that you guys just test out yourself. There are a lot of things I didn't tell you. For example, how I would like make this. Okay, like I'll give you an example. Play type something, Lorleo. Like I could show you how to do that or that or that or that, but I'm not going to, even though you guys just watched me. I'm going to explain that because I think that there are things that, like, just the emotional, like, response you get from yourself is, honestly, once you figure it out, it just feels so amazing. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just play around. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope that, even though this is limited information, for you beginners out there, it really helps kickstart your learning and kickstart your Photoshop. There are hundreds, maybe thousands actually, thousand more things that you can do in Photoshop. So don't let this tutorial limit you in any way. There are like entire workspaces and all these things to play around with, and there are things I don't know, like what's artboard tool or um what's content aware move tool. I don't know. And to be honest, you don't need all those things. So don't worry about learning everything, because like the tools I told you, these are things that you're really gonna need. There are other tools I use, of course, but like those are the ones that I just thought will help you out the most, because you need to know the basics before you can really progress. And I'm rambling a bit here, so, but yeah, just thanks for watching, guys. I'll have more tutorials, more in depth and more precise and specific tutorials later on. This one was just a bit quick and rambly and just me showing you around. So I think next week I might do a how to make cool colorings and things like that. You know, very like things that you can search up and that will actually, you know, help you out more. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please, 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 if you're not already, subscribe to my channel, because this is the year of YouTube for me, guys. Like, that's my New Year's resolution for my designing, is to make more tutorials and to show you guys and help you guys like learn and progress your designing to level equal to or even above my own. So yeah, I'll be posting, if you didn't see my Wattpad, so again, so make sure you go follow my Wattpad just in case you didn't see that. I'll be posting a speed cover every Monday and a tutorial every Friday. I may like skip some days, but it is not on purpose, and I will try to make it up to you. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Wait, you're just like literally staring at this blank screen. Let me just make it more interesting. Lore, Leo. But like, I'm really stuck on anything else to say. Yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys liked this random tutorial. And yeah, again, please give me feedback and any suggestions for next week's tutorial. So thanks for watching. Have a great and awesome day. Go out and make art. If this doesn't really apply to this one, but if any of my tutorials help you out in a specific way, please, please, please drop the link to the artwork or your art page in the comments, and I'll be sure to check it out. If you're on Wattpad or DeviantArt, I'll be sure to give it a like. But yeah, just thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and check out my new speed cover on Monday, and I'll talk to you again next week.